So are the people dying now the ones that have those compromised immune systems because of the vaccines, as opposed to a virus that they're getting and transmitting?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there a virus?
Yes, there's no question there's a virus. There's no question, that there's a virus there, and that's particularly the lab workers, the first responders, the people. We call it nosocomial transmission. It comes from the hospitals, from the doctors and nurses. In our first book, Plague, which we talked about, the chapter 8. Was an invitation only meeting at the highest levels of the government, and there was an "oh my God" that said, "You mean all those sequences we saw in the 80s were real?" And then the big "oh my God" was, and the cover up was, "We can't afford to retrofit our labs. We can't make our labs safe as if you were working with HIV. It's called biosafety level 3." And so the lab workers were getting infected by contagious, that is airborne, spread through coughs, and the same kind of thing, fluid, everything we're seeing in coronavirus, airborne cancer causing viruses. And the government's response was, cover it up. I got infected. Many of my colleagues got infected, and so as I've proposed, and I actually wrote to Bobby several weeks ago, and he asked me the question, "What do you think's going on?" I think it's SARS-CoV-2 plus XMRVs plus HIVs plus the many other adventitious agents in the vaccines, depending on the vaccines, the cow blood, the pig blood. Pigs have coronaviruses in the Rototech vaccines, I think, and then the 5G, which the frequency of that, I believe it's 160 gigahertz, will actually separate hemoglobin from iron. That iron is released into the blood as ferritin. Ferritin levels over 3,000 will give you the exact same cytokine storm that is being attributed to SARS-CoV-2 infection. So we don't know, and they're not testing, and that's why the liberal diagnosis, so that all the injury can be covered up. And that is my hypothesis, and I can support it with a great deal of data, and every measure that the government is using essentially proves my point.